So just a disclaimer before I start, any advice that I give in this video is what works for me personally, and I hope that it's going to help you as well, but if not, that's okay. As with any kind of self-care routine, the most important thing is that it works for you. So since November last year, I've been keeping a very, very basic sort of bullet journal. I started it because at the time I was feeling quite depressed. I had very low motivation. I found it quite hard to do any kind of basic functioning things like eating. So my therapist at the time recommended that I start writing a to-do list every day of really, really basic, simple stuff so that I could cross it off during the day and feel really productive and feel really good about myself. And it helped me so much that I still do it to this day, even though I'm in a way better headspace right now. And there's a couple of reasons why I feel like this technique can help a lot of other people as well. So the first reason is that I feel like we can all feel like we're not doing enough a lot of the time, especially right now, because a lot of the things that we want to do just aren't available, like they're just not possible right now. And because it's a lot harder to be productive when our brains and our bodies are in survival mode and just trying to, get through. I think it's easy to underestimate how big of an achievement it is to just be surviving right now. I saw this post on Instagram recently, which I loved, which said that it's okay if the only thing you did today was survive. And to me, that's basically the crux of this whole technique or process and why I find it so helpful, because it's just a daily reminder that the amount that you're accomplishing is okay and it's enough and you're doing great. The second reason that I think this might be helpful is because I feel like, especially for people who have high expectations of themselves or people who are perfectionists, if you have a list of things to do in a day and you don't complete one of them, then it's really easy to just see that whole day as a failure and to overlook everything else that you did that day. Like, let's say that you're working on a uni assignment and you don't reach your word count goal for that day. You might be disappointed in yourself or think that the whole day was a write-off. But maybe that day you also had a shower, called a friend, went for a walk, cooked a meal, changed your bed sheets, played with your pet, and took your medication. So you actually got so much done that day, even if you maybe didn't reach that one goal that you had. So I also love this technique because it helps to remind me that I've achieved a lot, even if it doesn't feel like it. So I'll get into how to write these to-do lists in a little bit, but first I want to show you my bullet journal. So this was my August. I actually paid someone on Etsy to convert my old bullet journal template to a digital PDF that I could print because I was drawing it out every day. It was very time consuming, and this is just so much easier. So basically at the start of every month, I have this monthly spread, which has a general to-do section for things that I want to get done at some point that month. I also have a habits section where I can track how many times I do certain things. And I also have a habit tracker for every day of the month that tracks general mental health related stuff and basic functioning, like how many hours I sleep, how many meals I have every day, that kind of stuff. The things like meals and exercise are very subjective. I kind of decide on the day at the time whether a meal that I had counted as a meal or whether it counted as a snack. So that's kind of all over the place. And also exercise. I've been counting exercise as even if I do 15 minutes of yoga or something like that, I don't have to do a full hour strength workout because I just want to motivate myself to do any exercise at all. So tracking these things every day can be really helpful in terms of noticing patterns with your mental health. I haven't noticed any for myself personally, but I still find it really helpful to be constantly mindful of how my brain and my body are doing. Otherwise, I could probably go a whole week without exercising and not notice. And then I also track how intensely I feel each of these emotions throughout the day, just to see how I'm doing. And then for every day, I have this daily spread, which has tasks and events. And before COVID, the tasks were little things that I had to do, and events was scheduled activities like work or seeing friends or appointments or whatever. But because I don't have any scheduled events anymore, the events is high priority tasks and the tasks is low priority tasks or really quick small ones. And then this notes section here, which is hidden and mysterious, That's where I just write a little like diary entry before I go to sleep, and it's not really like a place to get out all my feelings. I have that in a different notebook, but this is kind of just to write down what happened during the day, so that if I see on my monthly tracker that I had a particularly good or bad day, I can look back on that day and see what happened. I also personally really enjoy and would recommend handwriting your diary entries because it literally slows down your brain to work at the same speed that you can handwrite. So I find it very relaxing and mindful. So how do you write these to-do lists in a helpful way? So step 1 is to figure out what is manageable for you right now. And the way to do that is to, for a couple of days, write down everything you do as you do it and cross it off as you do it. So when you get up, write down get up and cross it off. When you eat breakfast, write eat breakfast and cross it off. And just keep going with that throughout the day. Every tiny thing that you do, write it down, cross it off. And then by the end of the day, you'll have a list of everything you did that day and you'll feel good about it. To me, the main purpose of this step is to help your brain start seeing these little tasks as achievements. It's like giving yourself a little high five every time you do anything. It's great. And it also helps you get a realistic sense of how much you're managing to complete every day so that you can make lists in the future that are manageable and realistic. So if you notice, for example, that you're not going for a walk every day, you don't want to put that on your daily list and then feel bad about not doing it. So once you've got a good idea of what you do every day, you can start writing a to-do list in the morning of like 10 to 15 tasks that you already know you're going to do that day. You can also break up bigger tasks into smaller tasks to help fill out the list. So if you've got cook dinner, for example, you can split that up into think of a recipe, buy ingredients, cook dinner, wash up dishes, put away leftovers. That's 5 for the price of 1. And it's really important to remember that your list should not be what you ideally want to get done in a perfect world. The point is to have a complete list of tasks by the end of the day, everything ticked off, so that you can feel really good and really proud of yourself. I personally really enjoy writing my tasks on my mirror every morning. Firstly, because they're more visible than if they were in like a notebook somewhere. And secondly, because it's so much more satisfying to like cross them off during the day. And the final step, step 3, is to just edit the list as you see fit or as works for you, which is, an ongoing process. For example, if you notice that you're consistently ticking off everything on your list and you feel like you've got some energy to spare, maybe you can start adding a couple of harder tasks to it. And on the other hand, if you notice that there's a task that you consistently aren't completing every day, just take it off the list. Even if it's something that you feel like you should be doing. The point of this is to make you feel good about what you are doing, not bad about what you're not doing. For example, when I started this process, I had eat a meal on my list every day because that's what I could manage. And crossing it off was like, yes, I ate a meal, go me, instead of like, oh, I only ate 1 meal, I should have eaten 3, I failed, And now I have on my to-do list every day as 3 separate tasks: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I get to cross them off throughout the day and feel really good about it. That being said, if there is something that's really important on your list that you can't just take off because you have to do it, it might be time to do some problem solving. So you might need to ask yourself what's stopping you from completing this task and what resources you have to help you complete it. So for example, if you have take medication on your list every day and every day you forget and you don't cross it off, maybe you need to set a reminder on your phone, and then on your to-do list the next day, you can put set reminder on phone. This technique is all about adapting your expectations of yourself to the reality so that you don't have to feel bad for not meeting unrealistic expectations. And that's pretty much it. Just keep adjusting as you go. I've been using this process for almost a year now, and I love it, especially in isolation, because it helps me feel like I'm being productive when I can't actually go and do anything. Especially right now when we're all dealing with so much all the time. It helps me stay afloat when I feel like I'm sinking. Because even if I couldn't change the world today, at least I got up and I got dressed. I think with this whole thing, the most important thing is to be honest with yourself about what is achievable for you and know that whatever that is, it's okay and it's enough. So let me know if you try this, let me know how it goes. Also, I've decided to upload videos every Friday at 5 p.m, so keep an eye out for that. And as always, I hope you are all staying safe and staying sane and taking care of each other. And I will talk to you soon.